Luminous Road. We set sail on the Ghost Road. The bearing from the star was etched into my mind, and the Viper slipped through the calm night, her bow aimed at a point on the dark horizon where the star's last light had vanished. There was no physical path, of course, just a heading, but the feeling was undeniable. We had crossed a threshold. The air tasted different, sharper, older. The usual sounds of the ship were muffled, as if the sea itself was holding its breath. For the first few hours, nothing, just the dark and the quiet. Then, an hour before dawn, the ocean began to glow. A soft, phosphorescent blue-green light swirled in our wake and danced alongside the hull. Not the scattered sparkles of common night plankton. This was a cohesive, intelligent light, glowing in patterns, sometimes forming shapes that looked like running figures, like outstretched arms, before dissolving again. The Luminous Road was not a metaphor. Spirits of the drowned, Finnegan said, standing at the rail, his face lit by the eerie glow. They guide the way, or they warn us to turn back. The crew was mesmerized, fear mingled with wonder. They'd never seen anything like it. Vance, back in his chains on the quarterdeck under guard, watched the lights with a different expression, not wonder, but recognition and a deep, gnawing greed. "The galleon's sentinels," he muttered. "We're close, so close." As dawn's gray light began to dilute the blackness, the phosphorescence faded. The sea returned to its normal slate blue. The magic was over, replaced by a tense, daytime vigilance. We were in the belly of the silent sea now, on a direct course for the heart of the curse. Every man scanned the horizon, not for the retribution or for land, but for anything. What we found, mid-morning, was a graveyard. It started with a single waterlogged timber, then another, then a shattered barrel. Soon, we were sailing through a field of flotsam, not from one ship, but from many, planking of different ages and builds, a Spanish helmet green with corrosion, a splintered figurehead of a weeping mermaid, a tattered French naval ensign. Centuries of wreckage, all collected here, in this calm, deep patch of ocean. The final resting place of every ship that had ever found a piece of the gilded galleon's treasure and tried to leave. "Don't touch anything," I ordered, my voice low. Not a splinter. We wove through the debris, a funereal procession. The crew was silent, faces grim. This was the proof of the curse, laid out before us like a lesson. The crack in our mast seemed to groan in sympathy. It was Swift Mary, high in the crow's nest, who broke the silence. Her voice carried down, clear and sharp. "Smoke. Fine on the port bow. Not ship's smoke. It's on the water." We altered course. What we found was a ship, but not a wreck. A small, fast-looking sloop adrift. Its sails were furled, but it listed badly. On its deck, a fire burned in a makeshift iron brazier, sending a thick, black column into the sky. A signal fire, and around the brazier, moving in a slow, shuffling circle, were the crew. They held hands, chanting something in low, unison voices. They were emaciated, their clothes in tatters, their eyes blank. They didn't look up as we approached. They just kept circling, chanting. "The Wanderer, out of Kingston," Bones said, peering through his glass. "Went missing 4 months ago. They look like they've been here the whole time. They're keeping the fire lit," I said, a chill running down my spine. "Why? It's not a signal for rescue," Finnegan said, his face ashen. "It's a ward. They're feeding the fire to keep something else away. Something in the deep that doesn't like the light." As if on cue, the water around the Wanderer began to darken. The same vast, amorphous shadow we'd seen days before rose from the depths, circling the listing sloop slowly, possessively. The chanting from the deck grew louder, more frantic. We watched, helpless, We couldn't fight that. We couldn't save them. They were already dead men, their minds gone, their bodies performing a ritual to stave off a horror they no longer even understood. We leave them, I said, the words ash in my mouth. We stay on our heading. It was the only order I could give. To interfere was to join that circle. As we sailed past, one of the chanting figures, a woman with wild hair, broke from the circle and stumbled to the rail. She looked right at me, and for a second, the blankness cleared from her eyes, replaced by an agony so profound it stopped my heart. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Then the shadow beneath her ship surged, and a slick, tendril-like appendage, not quite tentacle, not quite weed, broke the surface and wrapped gently around her waist. It pulled her, without struggle, over the side. She vanished. The chanting didn't stop. We sailed on. The image burned into my soul. The Luminous Road had led us to the antechamber of hell. The wreckage was the past, the wanderer was the present, and we were sailing straight into the future. The emerald in my pocket felt like a burning coal, the only thing between us and that endless, chanting circle. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more adventures.